Alright, well, this is episode 4, I think. Um, yes, it's on Henry V. And I did get to read Henry V out loud, but only with one other person. Um, and because I was reading out loud so much of it, no, it's like the opposite problem. I was like a little bit hard to keep track of everything. But anyway, I will do my best once more. And I noticed in the last video I was kind of not energetic. That's because it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, but now it's only noon, and I will try to be energetic for your sake. Okay, core idea number 1. This is a little bit, needs to be worked out, probably, but I'm thinking about Henry V. This is kind of continuing from the end of the last video, actually. Henry V redefines what it means to be king. Instead of it being part of your essence, like I am a king thing. He says instead that no, being a king is just a role that he's adapted, and there's nothing in his person that is itself king. It's just the clothes that he's wearing, and you can see that in, of course, the scene where he goes amongst the soldiers. He isn't recognized as being king without his clothes on. And I think that if he hadn't already known it, brings to light further that you being recognized as a king, at least, is dependent upon your clothes. And he asserts that it's not just recognition, it's actually, that's the actual fact of it. When you don't have your clothes on, you're not, when you don't, when you don't have your robes on, let's say, you um, aren't king. Uh, and yet he believes in these laws and things and sees himself as being totally justified for trying to conquer France because of the laws of it, and that he's actually king of France already, and that they just don't recognize that. So there's the truth of it as I'm only king insofar as people recognize me as being king, and then I'm only king insofar as the law recognizes me as being king. And he kind of holds those together. So my core idea is that law might be, trying to use some kind of like incarnation or body language. Recognition is the thing that gives flesh to the spirit of the laws. So the law says you're king, but that's just a kind of abstract thing. But people recognize it gives, makes it solid, makes it real, or makes it in the real world. It makes it manifest. Using real language can be kind of vague. So because of this, Henry V has seen that an unrecognized king might as well not be a king. There's nothing of value of being a king if you're not recognized as such, and because of this, he's willing to stoop. He's willing to listen to others. He's willing to, at the very beginning, he's willing to listen to the bishops saying whether or not this is the legal thing, and he will totally listen to their advice on the matter. They could be completely lying. And he would still follow them probably as long as they, well, I mean, yeah, as long as they convinced him, because he's kind of in a way put himself under them, which is again very not kingly according to Richard II's definition of being a king, but for Henry V it is consistent. And so one thing, because it's just clothes that you're wearing as a king, here's, I guess, going into the second core idea, is who is worthy of being king. who would want to be king, and who is worthy of being king. And Henry V says no one for both questions. There's nothing good about being king. What do you get out of it? You get ceremonies, and ceremonies are empty. There's nothing valuable about being trumpa-lumped, having trumpets played wherever you go. It's just noise. It's just vibrations in the air. There's nothing great about it. People may look up to you and respect you a lot and say you're awesome and even remember you, but it's empty. Kind of ecclesiastical moment there. And so who would want to? No one. And who should be king? Like, who deserves to be king? I think I was saying that he sees himself as being deserving to be king, and in a sense that's true, because he does have it by law, and he has it by his ability to do it well, but even his ability to do it well, he sees that he can't do it perfectly, because not everyone survives, even though only 29 die, and not, like, he asserts that the way that men die, as in sin or not, is not up to him, and he's not guilty about that, but he's still guilty for their deaths. And so he doesn't even address that. I think he's ignoring it, and he doesn't want to talk about the way that he's causing the deaths of many men. So he isn't perfect. He would be perfect if no one died, but that people do die. And even by law, the way that his father grabbed the crown was not legal, or it's kind of sketch, and so he prays to God that God won't remember that. So neither of the ways is he actually all the way deserving, and I think he asserts that no one is actually worthy of being king. So why is Henry V king? This, I think, is an interesting question. Why does he keep being king? Because he thinks that he doesn't want to be king, and he thinks he doesn't deserve to be king. So why is Henry V remaining king? Why didn't he just leave? And especially because he thinks it's just a role, it's something that he could potentially abandon. Why does he not go his merry way and leave everyone alone? It's because he sees it as a question of degrees. And so this is, I suppose, is the core idea, and also the synthesis, in contrast to other history plays of Shakespeare, and according to First and Second Solomon, which are saying like you're appointed or whatever, and this is part of who you are, and like as long as you're alive, you're king, or at least that's the way it actually is. He's saying, no, I reject all of that, and yet I will still be king because I am the best candidate. No one else could be king better than me. I'm the most legal right, if not totally legal. I'm the most able, if not totally able, to be king. And there's no one else to do it. I will do this job. But why doesn't even that, even though that's true, why doesn't he abandon it? Because he feels a crushing, huge responsibility for the lives of those around him. I think in the end we must say that he cares for his men. He cares for his country, selflessly, because he has nothing to gain for protecting his country, because he has enough money that he could just leave and have a fine life somewhere else. But instead he risks his life on the battlefield, he risks his life in campaigns, and it's because of the responsibility for him to be king, despite his not being worthy of it. So, the core idea, I suppose, is you should fulfill your responsibility even when you're not worthy to. And that's a synthesis in contrast to the other ones, I think. My final conclusion thought, probably for a while on Kings, although we do have First and Second Kings soon, is whether it's part of the essence or if it's a role. President is definitely a role, but I think, well, it does seem to be like set up by man. So I think either one can be true, but I think it would be ideal if we had, well, this is kind of tough. God's role as king is as essential, so there's that. But I think America, I'm just going to go for it. America would be better if we had one person who was of essence king, and couldn't be replaced, um, couldn't be dethroned. And then we had another man, the president, who could be, who actually did the leading and the ruling, but the king as a figurehead, as the embodiment of the country, could not. Okay, signing off. Uh, have a good day.